We need you to get out and vote to set the stage for November. Go vote. November 27th. So remember this is a date that's very important. He finishes a speech. It takes about 2.5 minutes because that's when his energy runs out, right? You know, energy. You know, he's got a lot of energy. What happened to that cocaine in the White House? Whatever happened? He's got a lot of energy, this guy. And we ended up winning Michigan. Remember, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. And Wisconsin, we won Wisconsin, we won Pennsylvania, we won it all. We have a new category of crime in our country. It's called migrant crime, and it's taking over America. You know, in New York, what's happening with crime is it's through the roof. And it's called migrant. I call it a new category. I just came up with that name, but I think it's appropriate. It's a new category of crime where they go and they beat up police officers. You've seen that. They go and they stab people, hurt people, shoot people. It's a whole new form, and they have gangs now that are making our games look like small potatoes, okay? Because Joe Biden allowed this to happen. We will call it from now on Biden migrant crime, okay? It's migrant crime. This is, we'll call it, I got it, migrant. Let's call it migrant. Biden crime. Oh, that's good. That's smart. Migrant crime. No, but you have a category of crime that we've never had. We've never had anything like this before. They're taking over. The mail-in voting is totally corrupt. Get that through your head. It has to be. The votes, I mean, it has to be. And I believe that the withdrawal from Afghanistan was the most embarrassing moment, I believe, in the history of our country. If that's success, and he thinks it was fine, we lost 13 soldiers. We shouldn't have lost anybody. You know, I'm the one that set it up in the sense that we had to get out 20 years. But they want wind. But what happens if the wind doesn't blow? They don't know. You know, it's hard to store wind energy, right? You know that. So they want wind, or they want solar, they want all things. It's not big enough to fire up your plants. It's not good. It's not consistent.
How are you going to make sure that mail-in ballots and voter fraud, which we heard from a lot of people in line, was an issue front and center? They're very concerned about mail-in voting. So forget the past. What are you going to do to make sure we don't have problems going forward?
If you have mail-in voting, you automatically have fraud. If you have
well, there's mail-in voting in Florida, and you won huge.
That's right. If you have it, you're going to have fraud.
But you won.
Because you don't have any. When you go into a voting place, like you go into one in a properly run state, they look at you, they give voter ID, you give all sorts of identification. I mean, it would be very hard to cheat in a mass scale. When you
President, the crowd's going crazy here, but during this campaign, a huge amount of your time has been spent in court, in the courtroom in New York and so forth. Now, in this New York civil fraud case, this Judge Arthur Engoron ruled against you for almost $500 million plus interest that runs every day. When I first read this, like $87,000 a day. How will you put up that kind of money? Because you have a bond to put up. Even if you appeal, you got to put up escrow money. That's it's a lot of dough.
It is a form of Navalny. It is a form of communism or fascism. The guy's a nut job. I've known this for a long time, and I've said it openly. They're emptying out their prisons into.
What's the first thing you will do if you become president again on the border? I know that's going to be your first.
There's two things I'm going to do. Number one is drill, baby, drill, and the other thing, equal. It's a new category. I don't know if you've heard this, but I came up with this one: migrant crime. There's crime, there's violent crime, there's migrant crime. We have a new category of crime. It's called migrant crime, and it's going to be worse than any other form of crime. You look at New York; they come out with faucets where no water comes out. You know, if you go and buy a home, and they know what I mean, the showers, you stand under a shower and there's no water coming, and you're saying you end up standing there 5 times longer.
But they want that. They want the dishwashers to be changed. All of that is part of the agenda.
So in Ohio, you have a great company that came to me, a dishwasher company, one of the biggest and finest companies, but they were going out of business. They said, we're not allowed to use water.
Why didn't you just hand them over when they were requested, though? I mean, they requested them. You could have just handed them over. It probably saved yourself a lot of trouble.
First of all, I didn't have to hand them over. But second of all, I would have done that. We were talking, and then all of a sudden they raided Mar-a-Lago. Do you remember? They said, could you put an extra lock on the door? We showed them where they were. We showed them. Unlike being under a Corvette in a little garage with the door open all the time, we had these things locked. We were surrounded all the time by many Secret Service agents. We had Secret Service all over Mar-a-Lago. You couldn't take anything out. But what happened, and when you take a look, Biden didn't have the Presidential Records Act. He's at great jeopardy, really. But they so sad. Nobody wants to buy these cars either. That's the other problem. They don't go far. I want to be more sophisticated. I said, give me a good reason why we shouldn't buy electric. Why should we buy it? And the guy, thousands and thousands of people coming from all over the world. Yesterday they had many from the Congo. Welcome to the Congo, people, because, and where do you come in the Congo? Where do you live? I mean, they'll say, how do you do it? You go through all these subpoenas. You got indicted. Now, in my whole life, I didn't know what I didn't know what indictment meant. You got indicted more than Alphonse Capone, Scarface. They say, how do you take it? How do you do it? I say, he couldn't call me by whole, for 20 years he called me Donald. He can't call me Donald. I have that with a lot of friends. They used to call me Donnie. They used to call me Don, DJ. Now they all call me President. I say, call me loosen. I say, loosen up. Loosen up. You've been my friend for 20